Hello, everybody. Give me one sec. I am just checking everything is working. I think it is. I think, guys? I think it is. I think it's working. Let me have a look in the chats. Hello. Who have we got in the chats? Hello, James, William. Jacob says, Good morning from Portugal. Jacob, are you Portuguese or are you on holiday? Either way, you're very welcome here. Sienna, hello. How are you doing? How are you? I'm very good. Thank you, Sienna. Thank you very much for asking. James says questions 1 and 8 are very weird. We'll get round to that, James. Don't worry. But I like that. Keen to jump into the maths. Lovely. Brooke, Fintair, Jennison, Mackenzie, Andrada. What an amazing group of names that is. I am absolutely obsessed with all of those names. Amelia, Ruby, Morgan, Matt, Seth, Eloise, also lovely names. I don't want to be discriminating. Is that a word? I've just made it up. I don't want to discriminate and tell people that I like their names and not other people. Eloise says, This is my first webinar. Eloise, welcome. Who else is their first webinar? Give me a hi in the chats. What can I do? I should get like a discrimination, says James. Yes, very good, James. Thank you. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Ben. Hi, Will. Yeah, I should have a thing where you can make a bunch of. I used to have this actually on the platform. If you got the GCSE video of it, if you can see my videos, I can't remember which video it is, but there was one video where I just got a new laptop and I started filming some maths thing, and I was showing I was talking about finding the distance between 2 points, and I was like, look, if you get this there, and has anyone else had this on there? I think it only happens on Mac. I'm not sure. It has these weird things that if you do that, it does like it flows these like hearts come up behind you and stuff like that. And I did this and like these fireworks popped off, and I just left it in the video. So anyway, for those of you that have got access to all the videos, go and have a look at that. I can't remember which one it is, but when you're going through it, you'll see it. It completely catches me off guard. I'm like, why are there fireworks going on? Anyway, I've got rid of all those, but maybe I should bring them back so that people. Yes, Anushka says my Matt does that all the time. It's so annoying. It's so weird. Why do you think that you would want to, on a video call with someone, make fireworks appear in a non-ironic way behind you? It's absolutely bonkers. Hello, everybody. Oh, Jacob, sorry, we've got an answer to the question. Jacob is not Portuguese. He's English and he goes to an English international school. Fantastic. Okay, well, you're welcome here. Right, guys, shall we get into the maths? I know you're all here for some maths. You're all maths heads. Let's jump into it. So we've got some things in the Q&A. Let me just say, this is absolutely fine. James says, this is my first webinar. The only teacher who talks about fireworks in webinars. This is why you're the best. Oh, James, you're the best too. Just to let you guys know, this Q&A we're going to keep for maths questions, so you can chuck actual maths questions in there and just sort of chat and stuff like this. No, James, it was another James. I'm so sorry. There's now two Jameses. There's one in the chat, one in the Q&A. But the chat we're going to leave for like, what do you guys think is the quick answer to this? I'll get your ideas in the chat, and then genuine maths questions we'll go here. So sorry, Seth is saying, can we do the harder questions at the end? This is for my more advanced webinar at midday. So this is for premium members at midday. I'm going to be doing a more advanced webinar. Just to remind everybody how this is going. I'm live streaming this for half an hour for free for some people, and then we've also got premium members in the Zoom room asking questions in the chat and stuff. So I'm staying for an hour with the premiums, just 30 minutes with the free. Let's jump into it because I don't want to eat up too much time. But just remember, guys, the Q&A we're going to save for maths questions. I've already had one from Will saying question 5 I don't understand. Let's come around to that in a bit. There's a few things I definitely want to get going on first. So I'm going to start with the thing that I wanted to do first, and then we're going to come around to the other things that you guys want to do. Okay, so let me share my screen 1 second. Okay. Where are we? Where are we? Share my screen. Okay, so here we go. What am I going to start with today? Okay, I know a lot of you guys are here for calculator hacks. I have to just say, listen, I pick these papers at random. I don't pick ones that have loads of calculator hacks on them. They're just random papers, completely at random. And I want it to feel, I don't think you guys do enough actual maths papers at school. You just do like boring 40 questions on simultaneous equations. It's very boring and it doesn't really represent a maths paper. And so I just want to chuck you straight in, bang, this is a real maths paper. Can't remember what year it was. Well, it probably says up there, whatever. But like, this is what it feels like, bang. And we're into real maths, okay? But there is actually, just so happens, there's no calculator hacks in the first half of this paper. There's an incredible hack for those of you coming at midday. Sorry to tease you, but there is a crazy hack at the end. I'm just going to show you so you guys can tell because I know I'm only doing the first half of this paper, but I want you guys to realize how powerful these calculator hacks are. There is a hack, and I'm going to do this for the midday class that literally. So just look at this question, everybody. And I know people are being sick right now. This is a 5 mark question. It had a 5 mark question and the final mark on your real GCSE, and your calculator can get the answers for both of these, no problem. Absolutely bonkers. So I just want to show you the calculator is still useful, even though we can't do any calculator hacks for the first half of this paper. The calculator hacks are just unbelievable, so it's worth learning them all. Let me jump in and do some maths because there's a very, very important thing I want to do today, which is boring, I know, but we've got to do it at some point, guys. Let's talk about conversions and currency conversions, any conversions. Anyway, I know this whole topic is kind of annoying for a lot of people. It's basically this topic that's called ratio, proportions, and rate of change. It's a whole boring like chapter in your books, and I think it's taught in quite a boring way. And I think the way that most people teach this is kind of like, well, guys, you times those together and you divide those. Just try and remember this is how you do it because you're trying to work out how much one costs, and people get lost because they don't have a system. Okay, I'm going to teach you basically the whole of that module, the whole thing, ratios, proportions, rate of change, the whole thing in like 10 minutes. Okay. I can teach the whole thing in 10 minutes. And I really want you guys to know what it feels like to be good at math. So I think a lot of people, when they see a question like this, so there's like Sam is paying 27 euros for 18 liters of petrol, and in Wales, Leah's paying £40 80 for 8 gallons of the same type of petrol. They give you some conversions, and then they say Sam thinks petrol is cheaper in Spain than in Wales. Does Sam correct? I think that people think when you're really good at maths, you like look at a question like this, and you're like, oh yeah, 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 and you just have an instinctive answer about whether it's cheaper or not, and you just like you know you sort of can just see the maths immediately. It's not like that. I'm sorry, I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm good at maths, okay? But I don't love these numbers. I'm not like, oh yeah, 4080, fantastic. Like I just want to show you the only reason I'm good at something like this is that I have a system and I just copy it every single time and I don't change what I do for my system. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I don't even think that hard about it. As soon as you start thinking, like, okay, right, 27 euros. 18 liters, 27 euros. Okay, you just get lost. Okay, that is not how to be good at math. You need a system. So I'm going to show you my system now. Just let me know in the chats who finds questions like this annoying. Just let me know who finds questions like this annoying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Loads of me, and me with 100 E's. Okay, so a lot of people find this stuff annoying, very annoying, very annoying. Okay, right. Let me show you the system. Oh, I should turn my emails off, shouldn't I? Sorry, guys. That is just absolutely dreadful. Right, right, back in. Right. Um, Everybody finds this annoying. Let me show you my system. And my whole system, okay, for the entirety of ratio, proportion, and all this whole thing comes down to two things: ladders and cycles. And I know you guys are like, what? My teachers haven't taught me that. But I promise you, your teachers are just teaching you really boring stuff. There's two things that can literally answer any question on ratios or proportion or conversions or any annoying thing about units, any of that. Ladders and cycles. Let me show you what I mean. You do a cycle when there's one of something. So here, do you see €1 is 0.85 pounds? And I don't even care about the question. I'm not thinking about any of this stuff. I'm just setting up my system. So I'm going to set up my cycle. And this is how it looks. You have euros here. How do you do euros? It's that, isn't it? Something like that. Euros there, and you got pounds there. And this is what I mean by a cycle. Like a sort of an arrow up there, an arrow down there. You might have seen this in chemistry, the water cycle or whatever it's called. I'm not very good, okay? I'm not going to teach you guys biology here. We're not going to do the water cycle or the nitrogen cycle, whatever it is. But you know those kind of things. We get the arrow there and the arrow there, okay? And on the top is always times, and on the bottom is always divide. And what you're doing is you're working out how do I get from euros to pounds, and how do I get from pounds to euros? And it's always the same number on the top and the bottom. And the nice thing about this is that it's very easy when one of them times one because you're just like, what do you guys think the number's going to be? So what am I going to times by to get from euros to pounds? So stick it in the chats. Let me see if you guys know what that number's going to be. Yes, Ruby, you got this right. Anybody else? Anybody else know what you do to get from €1 to 0.85 pounds? I know it feels weird, right? They're not nice number, or 0.85 isn't nice. Some people, William, you're saying X. Oh no, you mean times. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anushka, you've actually made this harder. You've made this harder. You put 1.17, but I know what you're doing. I think you're trying to do something more complicated. It's literally just the number that you see. It's that one. It's 0.85. Okay, so a lot of you guys got that right. 0.85. And think about it, right? Like, what would you times one by to get 0.85? Well, 0.85, because one times anything is the same as itself. So one times 0.85 would be 0.85. So basically, what you're saying is if it's €1, you would times it by 0.85. But the way that these currency conversions work is that you would always times it. So even if it was €25 and you wanted to change it to something else, you would just times it by 0.85. Okay. So, okay, we now know how to get from euros to pounds, but we don't yet know how to get from pounds to euros. Well, this is the nice thing about this cycle. It's just literally always the same number. So it's just 0.85. Now I'm going to set up the same thing, but for liters and gallons. So I've got liters and I've got gallons. Now, what do you guys think the things on the this is really interesting, right? Okay. Look what I'm about to do here. I was about to go and do this, right? Because it's liters to gallons. But look at this. This is 4.5 here to 1 gallon. Do you see, like, this is a bit annoying because it's not the same as before. The one I had before had the one on the left. So do you see that you could very easily switch this around and just think, well, 1 gallon is equal to 4.5 liters. That's all I'm doing is just switching that the other way around. But this is what I mean by having a good system. You just want to copy your system every time. And when something doesn't quite fit, make it fit. So this doesn't fit because it's 4.5 to 1. That's annoying. I want to switch it the other way around. So now I'm going to switch liters and gallons around. Do you see why? Because I've always got the one on the left and it just makes my life easier. Gallons to liters. Now stick it in the chats. What's this number on the top? Oh yeah, sorry. So you're quite right. Thank you for that. Zach, could you move this color chart? I know, sorry. Yeah, that is just annoying, isn't it? I wish that would go away, but I can't make it go away. Anyway, hopefully now you guys can see the question. What are you guys saying? 4.5, 4.5. Yeah. You guys have all got this right. Someone's saying 100. No, there's no 100 business. So just so you know, Jennison saying 100. This is a really useful thing to talk about. I think with the 100 thing, the 100 is only if you're changing between like pounds and pence or something like that, or 1,000 if it was liters and milliliters. That is a conversion. That is a slightly different type of conversion. That's when you're converting something from like the same unit, so like milliliters to liters. This is like changing between, like you can still use this cycle to do that as well, but that's just something different. That's like when you're scaling up or down, like centimeters to meters. This is actually different things. So pounds to euros and stuff like that. If you want to do that, I don't personally use these cycles for doing that kind of unit conversions, but you could do, but it would just be like 1,000 on the top and 1,000 on the bottom usually. But yes, most of you guys have got this. It's 4.5. Okay, so which is 4.5, and you just copy it down there. Now look, you guys might be like, Rob, you haven't got any marks yet because you haven't done any maths. I haven't actually done anything in the question, but I promise you, the question is going to be so quick once you've set these things up. So the purpose of doing this is that I can now instantly convert between euros and pounds. And you're going to get 1 mark on this question if you just do any conversions. So do you see here? There's 27 euros. Can I also talk to you briefly about this? And you guys will know this if this is your first webinar, then welcome. Welcome to the idea I'm about to share. You guys all know this. I don't really care about all these words like in Spain, Sam pays. And Sam thinks that, just like, what's the maths? Like, what's the maths? Like, let's just cover these up because it's annoying people. 27 euros for 18 litres, right? Of petrol. Yeah, it's all petrol. So it doesn't matter. In Wales, Leo pays for 8 gallons. Yeah. £4.80 for 8 gallons. So these are the things that we're trying to convert. And you get 1 mark on these questions if you just convert anything. It does not matter what you convert. You could convert this euros into pounds, or this pounds into euros, or this liters into gallons, or this gallons into liters. Just do, you're going to get 1 mark for doing one of the currency ones and 1 mark for doing one of the volume ones. So it literally doesn't matter. I mean, I'll just pick the first two ones, but you could literally do anything. It honestly doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 27 euros and convert it into pounds. So I have a euros, and I'm going to do that to it, and then I'm going to get the pounds. Do you guys see why, like, I'm not scared of this question? Because this system is just, I set up my cycles, I then just, I can easily convert between anything, and I'm not going to think about the numbers yet. I'm just going to get it down on the page. So I'm going to take 27 euros and times it by 0.85, and then it will turn into pounds. So whatever that is, I just come over to my calculator, 27 times by 0.85. And the answer there, I'm going to hit S to D to turn it into a decimal, 22.95, and that's pounds. And there you go. I've got a mark. I've got a mark already. Now I want to do something over here. And it doesn't matter which one you do. I'm just going to start with the first one, 18 liters. So now I have a liters and I want to turn it into gallons. So what am I going to do? Stick it in the chat. What am I going to do to 18 liters? So I'm going to take 18 and I'm going to do something to it. What am I going to do? Yes, yes, yes. All very close. Okay, so lots of you are saying divide by 4.5. A couple of you are saying times by 4.5. And all you need to do to know is go and ask yourself, which way am I going? Am I going from gallons to liters? If so, then it's that. If it's liters to gallons, and this is why we do the cycle, that's why the arrow goes that way, it would be divide. So I go up and I go, 18 is liters. Okay, so the 18's over this side. So I have to do that to it to get to there. So most of you said divided by 4.5. For those of you that said times by 4.5, like this is the only mistake you're going to make on this question is you're going to, if you set the cycles up, you're just going to choose the wrong one. And you just got to go through carefully and be like, oh, if this is annoying you, by the way, good. It means you're going to probably get it right. You're just, oh, wow, it was 18 liters. Okay, liters. Okay, so it's the bottom one. So divide. So that's like, when I say I'm good at math, it's like it's not like I'm breezing through this question, going like, ah. I'm literally going like, oh, which one? Oh, okay, liters. Right, so I'm going to divide by 4.5. Right, but the fact that I'm careful is that's the reason I'm not going to drop marks on questions like this because I'm just careful. 18 divided by 4.5. Yeah, like you guys think being good at maths is being some sort of born a genius. It's just sort of being careful and sort of getting annoyed at questions a bit. That will make you really good at maths because you'll just be like, you'll just take a tiny bit longer to figure everything out. Right, so the answer there is 4. Okay, so now I've got 2 marks on a 4 mark question. Okay, now even if you get stuck here and you don't know what to do, you got half marks. It's not bad. That's actually a pretty good go. So now it's worth writing what unit that is because everyone gets annoyed at the units in this question. It's the euros, bloody pounds, bloody liters, gallons. What the hell's going on? So just instead of just leaving 4 floating, I'm going to say 4 gallons. Okay. I would also recommend, this depends how annoyed you are at this. Even at this point, probably a lot of you are still a bit annoyed. Like, if I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know what am I comparing, or what have I done? So it's worth taking a pause and being like, right, what have I done? And again, just get annoyed by these units, and you'll do well. I took 27 euros and changed it to pounds, and then 18 liters and changed it to gallons. So what I ended up doing is basically converting this sentence to it's 22.95 for 4 gallons. Okay. I just changed 27 euros to 22 pounds. Anyway, whatever. I don't need to bang on about this. You guys get it, right? So, and then I've got £40.80 for 8 gallons. Now, don't go and change those now. The whole point of this question, and kind of the whole point about the whole idea of units in general, is that you want everything to be the same unit and then you can go and compare them. It's exactly the same with fractions. You have a question about fractions and you have da 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 2/7 and da 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 1/5. You can't add or subtract these fractions until you get the bottom numbers the same. You just can't do it. So step one of fractions questions is let me go and get the common denominator, get the bottom numbers the same, and only then can I go and start comparing them or adding them or subtracting them. Timesing and dividing is different, and you can just go and do that straight away. We're not going to fractions, but I'm just showing you that a lot of topics in maths are kind of the same. Here are 2 things that you just annoying to compare. Go and like do a bit of what's it like? it's just like doing a bit of prep work. This is like I was going to do a cooking analogy. I don't imagine many of you guys are like too busy in the kitchen, but this is just doing your prep work. This is like if you were cooking something, it's just chop the carrots first, right? Just chop the carrots, chop the onions. Right now we can cook. This is the idea here. We're just chopping carrots here. We're chopping onions. We're just setting all our stuff up, getting it all laid out, and then when we cook, it's going to be so quick. Is that a good analogy? I don't know. So it probably doesn't work for teenagers. Anyway, so we now can compare these two things. So we got 22.90 for 4 gallons or 40.80 for 8 gallons. And this is where the ladder comes in. So all this stuff up here is what I call the cycle. By the way, don't go and Google cycle GCSE maths because it doesn't like this is my way of seeing it. Okay, so this isn't like a normal standard like technique, but I just know this from teaching this a lot and figuring this out myself. These two things will get you through the whole of ratios, proportions. That's a huge part of your paper. It's like 20% of the whole paper is to do with ladders and cycles. Okay, so a ladder is exactly the same sort of thing, but it's just sorry, you use a ladder whenever you have two things that are equivalent. So when it's like this is this. So you could use a ladder here to say €1 is zero point 0.5 pounds, but the cycle is better when there's one of them. So when it's just €1, do you see how easy it was to set it up? It's just that number. So now 22.95 for 4 gallons. Neither of those numbers are one. Okay, so I'm going to set up my ladder here. So 22.95 for 4 gallons. So you set up the first rung of the ladder, 22.95 for 4 gallons. You always write the unit of the number above it. And this is exactly how you do ratios. Alan and Bob shared some money in the ratio 5 to 7. Ladder, right? Ladder, ladder, ladder. It's exactly the same. And this ladder, the only thing you need to know is that you times or divide. You can times or divide going down. I know I'm sort of dancing around topics a little bit, but I'm trying to show you that these two things, the ladder and the cycle, are just unbelievably powerful. Okay, then if you're ever given two separate things, so like you see that these two things are separate. This is one of them Spain, one of them's Wales. The other one, we're going to set up another ladder. So £40.80 for 8 gallons. So this is £40.80 for 8 gallons. Ladder, ladder, ladder. And this will always just be like the final step of these sorts of weird, annoying questions is you're now comparing this to this. I'm also going to teach you another topic in here for free that's called Best Buy. Do you guys know that? Oh no, I'm low battery on my pencil. That is schoolboy. Actually, sorry, you guys are probably all at school. Half of you are probably boys. So that's I'm just offending half the group by saying schoolboy error. But anyway, you're trying to compare these. Now, Best Buy is that annoying question where they're like, oh, Jenny buys 5 packs of toilet rolls for this, and her sister buys 12 packs for this. Like, who's got the best value, right? This is exactly the same. You set up a ladder for one, a ladder for another, arrows down. Now, do you guys know what you're trying to do here? There's just one thing whenever you're trying to compare two things like this or do the Best Buy. Do you guys know what we're actually trying to do here? And I want you to, one of these numbers, you basically know what one of the numbers are underneath the ladder. Do you guys know what this is? That's a good idea, William. William's got a good idea saying get one value the same. A few people are saying divide. This is good. Yeah, divide feels good. You kind of want to bring it down. Yeah, okay. Divide by two, making it equal to both people. Divide by two, a lot of people are saying. Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. So these are actually really good ideas. Okay, so the one thing that I was gonna say is make one of them one. Okay, but actually, what you guys have said here is actually really good. But what you guys are saying here is if you manage to get one of these numbers the same, then you can compare them. I'm going to do that first. Let me show you what that means. These numbers are weird and nasty, so let's not touch those. Let's look at these numbers. This is 4, this is 8. So if you actually understand this, this is saying I know how much 4 gallons is worth, and I know how much 8 gallons is worth. So why don't we just get the two numbers the same? So what a lot of people were saying is, why don't we divide these by 2, right? If we divide both of these by 2, by the way, if you ever have a number and all the numbers are like even, you can just halve all the numbers. Like that's how you halve something. So this is not me being clever. I can immediately say that's 2040, but all I've done is half of 4, half of 0, half of 8, half of 2. A little bit of non-calculator stuff either. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Bang. Okay, so look, now you can compare these, right? Because they're the same. This is like we were saying before with fractions. 4 gallons over here is worth 20 quid. 40 pence. 4 gallons over here is worth 22.95. And I actually didn't need to do anything to those arrows. So yes, great. For those of you that saw that, brilliant. That's exactly how you'd finish the question. And let's just remind ourselves, 22, this one was Spain, and this one was Wales. And the question now is, okay, is he correct? Sam thinks petrol is cheaper in Spain than in Wales? Well, no, because here I've got Wales being cheaper than Spain. So therefore, no. Okay, fine, finish the question. Now, let me just go back a second because some of you might not have spotted that divide by two thing. And this is where you I think you guys suggesting that are kind of quite advanced. You guys saw, I spotted that this number's twice as big as that number. Let me show you how to do it if you hadn't have spotted that, okay? Because I think this is important to say. The system here is kind of more important than anything else. So even if you didn't spot that, or some of you might be like, well, what if that wasn't 8 and was like 7? Oh, then you couldn't do that same trick. Yeah, sure. So let me show you a really good system that will work every time. It's just get one of the numbers to be 1. And that will tell you how much one thing is worth. So it doesn't matter which one you get to 1, they just have to be the same. So like it makes sense to make this one 1, but you could even make this one 1 and compare, well, how much does £1 get you in both situations? But let's make that 1 and let's make that 1. So over here, to make 4 down to 1, you have to divide by 4. So you divide this by 4 and you go 22.95 divided by 4 is equal to 5.7 whatever, 5.7375. And over here, how do I get from 8 to 1? Stick it in the chats. What do I do to both sides? On this ladder, you don't have to do the same thing to all 4 numbers, by the way, because these are separate ladders, okay? They're separate. But over here, yes, great. You guys have got this divided by 8. So over here, we're going to divide by 8, divide by 8, and 4080 divided by 8. Now that one's not nice. Actually, it's not too bad, but it doesn't matter. We've got a calculator. Let's use it. The answer is 5.1. Fine. And do you see now I can compare? 1 gallon is worth this much in Wales or whatever, but here 1 gallon is worth this much. So this one's cheaper. Okay. So that one thing works every time. And that's kind of why I think it's actually more important to remember that than to remember than to do what the rest of you guys did, which is like, hey, I just spotted that one of them was half the other one. So that, that's just being good at maths. This is just having a good system and just getting it right every single time. So let me make a card on this. I think the first thing to do is just basically say €1 equals 0.85 pounds. And I would even just go like method. Remember if you haven't seen me do this before, these are what I call micro revision cards. I want to revise as I learn. I don't want to have to start revising separately. But the point of these flashcards, the double-sided flashcards, is that each of them takes 10 seconds max to revise. And the method over here, I just want to go like euros, pounds, times by 0.85, divide by 0.85. You could even write cycle on the top or something. If this method works for you, if you like this, I mean, I would recommend it. There's other ways to do currency conversion, and feel free to go read your boring textbooks. But I honestly think this. Honestly, as soon as one of them's won, you can just smash. Cycle works every single time. I would just write that on a card, just to remind yourself of this technique that we did today, and that's the revision. Now, how long does that really take you guys to revise? Like less than 10 seconds, right? You do a lesson, you understand it. Like, ideally, you guys will go and practice some questions and stuff by yourself. And for those on premium, you guys can do that. So you guys can go to currency conversion. So you can go to ratio and proportion section, go to currency conversion, and you guys will practice like two practice questions. I don't put 20 questions up there just because it's boring. You don't need that. Just a couple of questions, practice it, fine. See if you learn it. Because the reason I don't do loads of practice questions is that sometimes 2 questions is enough to make sure you've got it. And you do all your topics, you get a system for each one. So if you stick with me, I'm going to show you a system for every single topic. You're going to follow the system. And like some of them, you'll just know and get full marks every time. Some of them you might be like, like you'll find it annoying for some reason. You just need to practice it a little bit more. But nearer the time of your actual GCSEs, you start to take full practice papers. You'll realize which bits you need a little bit of help with and revision with. Then you go back to my platform. You go back into math mode. You go back to your like back to that topic, you learn it again and you have a look at my cards, you write them down, and then you start building that revision deck back up again, but only for the topics that you actually need. Now, look, I know I've got to half 11, but there's one more thing I just wanted to show. So I want to I'm going to just do this question, and then we're going to go back and do a poll and see for the premium members what question you guys actually want to go through. I want to show you one um, tweak to this. I did this fairly recently, maybe in the last month or so. So some of you might know this. Can you guys tell me the method for how to do this? Not a single person knows how to do this question in the world. I'm pretty sure there's not a single person that knows how to answer this question in the world. None of your parents will have any idea, right? It sounds so simple, this question. No, Kieran has 13 workers he can use for a job. He knows that 6 workers would take 14 and a half days to complete the job. Sure, he's got enough workers to finish a job in less than 7 days. You're like 13, 6, 14 and a half, do some stuff with those numbers and end up with 7. It seems doable. And it's the same with people digging a hole. You know, that annoying question. It's just like 5 people take 4 days to dig a hole. How long does it take 7 people to do it? It's really disgusting. Nobody knows how to answer the question. Do you guys know? See how long it takes one person to do it. That's pretty good. There is a way to do that, Amelia. I think that's pretty good. How long does it take one person to do it? But then if 6 workers take 14 and a half days, how would you work out how long it takes one person to do it? You can't divide it by 6 because it would take one person longer. So there's this annoying thing happening. Some people, yes, 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 Anushka, you've got this. So yes, okay. So I think what people are saying, yes, Anushka, yes. Okay, let me say what Anushka's saying. I think a few of you guys have said this as well. This is the ladder. Why is this the ladder? Do you remember what I said before about the ladder? Is you use the ladder whenever there are two things that are equivalent. €1 is equal to £6, whatever. Sorry, I know I said use the cycle in that case, but you could use the ladder. 3 apples is £5.60. Bang, bang, ladder. Here, 6 workers take 14 and a half days. Ladder. So you've got 6 workers, 14. I'm going to do 14.5, 14 and a half. It's kind of easier just as a decimal. So this is workers and this is days. Okay. Now, this is the only time, it's a very specific niche topic. This is the only time you have to do a tweak to the ladder. Normally, what you do is you do the same to both things. But in this case, you do the opposite. And the reason is these things are not proportional. They're what's called inversely proportional. It means when one goes down, the other goes up. Just think about it for a second. If you put more workers in, it's going to take less days to complete, right? Fewer days. Should it be fewer days? A discussion for another time. Okay. We're not getting into that. Okay. Fewer days. It would take fewer days. So when one goes up, the other goes down. And again, the only time this happens is when you know that something's inversely proportional. And this just happens people on a job. It's just people doing stuff. And you put more people in and it takes less. So it's hours to dig a hole, days to complete a job. That's basically the only time you're going to use this. So the question, this is a 3 mark question, and everybody's getting 0. I'm telling you, everyone's getting 0. I'm going to show you how to get 3 marks just in one go. And it's by setting up what I call, what should we call this? Reverse ladder, inverse ladder, flip ladder, weird ladder, whatever it is. It's just the ladder, but just tweaked. Which number do I know down here? Which one? You're literally looking in the question for another number of workers or another number of days. What you guys saying? And Anushka and Sienna both saying 13 workers. Some people saying 7 days. Yeah, interesting. Okay, right. So look, a lot of you are saying 13 workers. A lot of you are saying 7 days. Now that's interesting, right? They've sort of given you both of them. However, show that really means that you want to do some maths and then the answer is going to end up being 7. You could put 7 under the days thing, but then you're going to end up with some decimal number of workers and it's going to be a bit annoying. What makes sense when you have a show that question is take the number they gave you in the question and try and show this number coming out. So what I would do in this question is take 13 workers. Bang. 13. Now, do you guys know this is an advanced ladder? It's not advanced. This actually comes up in every single ladder, which is how do you get from 6 to 13? In the previous question, it was nice and easy. It was like 12. It's like, oh, I double it. And everyone's like, oh, Rob, your ladders doesn't work now because I can't nicely get from 6 to 13. And I just have one thing that works literally every single time. Yes, Ruby, bottom divided by top. What I like to say is second over the first one, the second one over the first one. Yes, so a few guys have got this, 13 over 6. And the nice thing about this method is you don't have to think. Please don't think, oh, 6 to 13, so that's times by 2 and a little bit more, so 2 point something. No, no. Don't think, don't think, don't think. Just remember, second one over the first one. So you times by the second one over the first one. Okay. And so what do I do over here? Normally, I would times by 13 over 6, but this is the opposite. I don't times, I divide. And only because it's this weird question where you do the opposite thing. Okay. So I understand there's a few little like, oh, Rob, this feels a bit weird. I promise you, this is the only time you do the opposite. So it's the only time this is a divide. But I'm hoping that if you just do a few practices doing the normal ladder, this sort of advanced ladder is just sort of one extra little thing you got to remember. And now watch, just watch what happens. Like you don't have to think about anything. I'm just going to go divide 13 over 6. Oops, sorry, I did the fraction button twice. Bang, answer, bang, S to D. There, done, 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 done. 6.69 days. It's in the days column. So that's how long it would take. So show that he's got enough. Done, finished. I've shown that it's less than 7 because it's 6.69. And this is a great sense check. Does my answer make sense? Dave said show it's less than 7. I got 6 and a bit. Yeah, that makes sense. If my answer was 1, like 1.3, it's like show that it's less than 7 days. And I got 1.3 days. That feels like mad. That feels wrong. When they say show it's less than 7, you want the answer to kind of be close to 7. So that's it, done. So I know this might look weird. I promise you that's it. So one card we need to write down is, I guess one card is like, how do you get from 6 to 13 on a ladder? 6 to 13 ladder. I put a question mark here. And on the back, times by 13 over 6. I know this. Okay, I'm just going to do this quickly. You might want to fill out a full ladder or something like that, but just I'm trying to do the quickest version of this card. The other one would be like, I guess you could go method. That. And on the back of your card, you go workers' days, 6, 13. This is a slightly advanced card. I get this. I get this. This is an advanced card, but maybe I would, in a real world situation, I would break this down into 2 cards. But this would be your method. Like, I know this feels advanced, but this is 3 marks. This is 3 marks. So this one card, if you can revise this nasty card, that is 3 marks. Crazy. Okay, I'm going to stop there for those watching free because I'm going to go into the Zoom room. We're going to discuss exactly what questions you guys need the most help with. Going to do your questions. Going to go through the Q&A, all this kind of thing. For those watching free, if you want premium, you guys can sign up and come. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. It's fun. Is it fun? Extra maths. It's not bad for extra maths. Let's put it like that. You know, the fact that you guys are rocking up on a Sunday to do extra maths is pretty cool. And I'm just going to help get your grades up. You also get access to all the platform, all the videos, all the calculator hacks, everything like that. So if this stuff is useful and you need a little bit more help, sign up to premium. Let me stop sharing my screen and just say bye-bye to those watching free.